Movies are magic. I love movies. They inspire me, made me laugh, made me cry, made me think, made me scared. But with so many movies to choose from, it's impossible to pick 12 of them. Well, I gave it some thought and cobbled together a list of 12 of my all-time favorite movies. And with so many more good movies on the horizon, chances are they might not eclipse the films that are on this list. Now, I know everyone who knows me and who has seen my previous videos know what my number one favorite movie is, but you probably don't know what some of my other favorite movies are. So, let's begin. This is my top 12 favorite movies of all time. Number 12. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Based on Roald Dahl's book, the story is about an enigmatic candy man awarding 5 kids a tour of his chocolate factory. The idea of having a chocolate factory like this is everyone's dream come true, but it also has its dark side too. The film features an outstanding performance by Gene Wilder in the title role, and with monumental songs by Anthony Newley and Leslie Bricusse. It's a fun film for the whole family. Number 11. The Wizard of Oz. Yeah, I can't make a list of my favorite movies and not include this film. Based on L. Frank Baum's book, it tells the story of a Kansas farm girl, played by Judy Garland, who gets swept away into a magical world with dancing scarecrows, flying monkeys, wicked witches, and gay lions. The film was made on the cusp of Walt Disney's triumph of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, so MGM decided that a fantasy movie with an adult appeal would be profitable. However, not a box office hit on release due to increasing competition and international revenues cut off due to the approaching Second World War, The Wizard of Oz was given a second chance and is regarded as a classic. Filmmakers like Steven Spielberg, Peter Jackson, and Ron Howard have cited this film as an inspiration, and no wonder. It's a very beautiful film. Number 10. Psycho. If you've seen many of my other videos, you know what this movie's about and why I love it so much. Psycho was the first film that broke all the rules of storytelling. Having a heroine killed off a third away into the film was never done before and has since then been used in other films afterwards, from Scream to Friday the 13th. Anthony Perkins' portrayal of Norman Bates is undoubtedly so brilliant. This is truly Alfred Hitchcock's most famous and greatest film for a reason. It's shocking, it's terrifying, and has made people think twice before entering the shower. If you want to know more why I love this movie, check out my video essay, Psychoanalysis. Number 9. The Pianist. Winner of 3 Academy Awards, including Best Actor for Adrien Brody and Best Director for Roman Polanski, The Pianist tells the incredible true story of Polish pianist Władysław Szpilman, struggling to survive in the Warsaw Ghetto during the Holocaust. This film is special because the film is directed by someone who lived through this horrible chapter of human history. Roman Polanski lived with his father while his mother perished in the gas chambers of Auschwitz. Polanski was able to incorporate moments that happened in his own experiences into the story. This is truly a masterpiece of filmmaking and must be experienced. Number 8. Gangs of New York. Directed by Martin Scorsese, Gangs of New York has the scope of an epic film with beautiful sets and costumes and an outstanding performance by Daniel Day-Lewis as the racist gang leader Bill the Butcher. Using New York as a representation of America, Scorsese managed to recreate those violent moments in history that helped shape the city into what it has become. The opening battle scene really gets me pumped up, and it's done so brilliantly. Though it might not be as brutal as some of Scorsese's other films, it still is an epic spectacle unlike anything I've seen from this master filmmaker. Number 7. Saving Private Ryan. Much like Gangs of New York, Saving Private Ryan has one of the most exciting openings to any film, recreating the Omaha beach landing on June the 6th of 1944. It is one of the first films to accurately depict the horrors of war and the dangers a soldier has to face in combat. Since then, other war films would take inspiration from it. It also tackles the question of what is the decent thing to do when facing the hellfire of combat, and each of the characters captured that initial struggle throughout the film. It's a thrilling and heart-wrenching story for those who lived and died during the war, and should be viewed by everyone. Number 6. Schindler's List. Yet another movie about the Holocaust, this time through the cameras of the greatest director in the world, Steven Spielberg. The film about a German factory owner saving his entire Polish Jewish workforce, while people from his own country commit the most horrendous acts of man's inhumanity against man in recorded history, raised new awareness in the Holocaust the world over. Winning 7 Oscars including Best Picture and Best Director, Steven Spielberg would create the survivors of the Shoah Visual History Foundation, which currently holds 52,000 videotape testimonies of Holocaust survivors. Spielberg considers this his best film, and no wonder. He puts his heart and soul into every single frame, and it tugs on your heartstrings, and is so hard to watch the violent moments. It is a film that everyone should be required to see. Number 5. Superman. Released in 1978, Superman is the first big-budget superhero movie ever made. Richard Donner, hot off The Omen, was the one who managed to take the material very, very seriously and set the standard by which all superhero movies today are still judged. For the first time, audiences actually believed a man could fly, and it was up to the use of very complicated methods to make it possible. Christopher Reeve's portrayal of the Man of Steel is still considered to this day as the best interpretation of Siegel and Schuster's creation. And we must not forget the performances of Marlon Brando and Gene Hackman. In addition, the outstanding cinematography by Jeffrey Unsworth and the production design by John Barry, both of whom passed away before the movie opened. Superman, a movie that still makes me believe a man could fly. Number 4. The Dark Knight. The sequel to Batman Begins, The Dark Knight is the Gone with the Wind of comic book movies. A lot of the film's greatness has to do with the bravura performance by the late Heath Ledger as Batman's arch-nemesis, the Joker. His performance was so good, he was awarded with a posthumous Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. It also features a good deal of action, drama, and yet still manages to stay coherent and contemporary without being cartoonish. Plus, Christopher Nolan manages to play with the mythology in such a way that makes audiences believe that what they are seeing is actually happening. With amazing characters and compelling story, The Dark Knight is one hell of a good film. Number 3. Batman. It was kind of hard to pick which one I liked more, this one or The Dark Knight. I put Batman above The Dark Knight because Tim Burton was the one who set the stage for what filmmakers who attempt to make a Batman movie should do. It should be a dark and brooding character. Michael Keaton is still regarded as the best Batman, and I can still see why. He doesn't look like a superhero and has to put the costume on in order to create the effect. And we must not forget Jack Nicholson. Long before Heath Ledger, Jack Nicholson was regarded as the best actor to play the Joker. But unlike Heath Ledger's portrayal, which was devoid of humor, Nicholson's Joker manages to be really scary and also really funny. Danny Elfman's Batman theme is next to John Williams' Superman theme as one of the best superhero theme tunes ever created, and I still get pumped when I hear it. Number 2. Raiders of the Lost Ark. The first installment to the adventures of Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark was the film that made me decide for the rest of my life what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a filmmaker. Harrison Ford immortalizes the role of Indiana Jones, and the film captures the spirit of the Saturday matinee serials. This happened to be the all-time favorite movie of my late grandfather, and no wonder. It has a fantastic hero, beautiful locations, death-defying stunts, great set pieces, and a finale that blew my balls off. Plus, that iconic John Williams theme is still one of the best theme tunes in film altogether. Created by George Lucas and Steven Spielberg, Raiders of the Lost Ark is a film you will treasure forever. And my number 1 favorite movie of all time is, say it with me now, Ghostbusters. Yeah, you knew that, didn't you? But I can't begin to describe how much this film outranks all of the other movies I just mentioned. The idea that a group of men, much like firemen, but catch ghosts is one of the most creative and not to mention funny ideas ever concocted. Plus, I think the notion that at first these guys are looked upon as a joke, but then are looked at as heroes, and the only hope to save New York is somehow very inspirational. I've decided to go into a profession that was not in the norm, same as these guys. No one took them seriously, but when people saw what they can do, they had faith in them. And I find that to be very inspirational. The film has fantastic story, great characters, quotable lines, state-of-the-art special effects, and perhaps the greatest theme song in movie history. Now, I know a lot of people are wondering what my thoughts were about the all-female reboot. Personally, I think it would be interesting to see what they can do. Let's keep an open mind and not jump to conclusions so quickly. Besides, if it does well, good for them. If not, it's not the end of the world. The original will still be around and will inspire generations for years to come. Ghostbusters, my number 1 favorite movie of all time. Ghostbusters!